Take this bra. Once you wear it, you will become the most beautiful.
Kaisha stood there, frozen. Her hands shook as she held the old-looking bra. She looked up to ask a question, but the man was gone. No footsteps, no sound, nothing, just cold air and silence. Kaisha turned slowly, her heart beating hard. The road was empty. The trees were still. It was as if the man had never existed. Even Kaisha had always known her ugliness. She did not need mirrors to tell her. People told her every day. Once she passed, whispers followed. Ah, see her face. God forbid. Why is she shaped like that? Children laughed openly. Some ran behind her, shouting names. Others covered their eyes and screamed like they saw a ghost. Kaisha learned early not to cry in public. She swallowed her tears and walked faster. In the village, beauty was everything, and Kaisha had none of it. Her skin was rough, her face uneven, her teeth pushed forward awkwardly. Her body was thin in strange places and wide where it shouldn't be. Old women used to say, maybe her mother offended the gods. Men never looked at her twice. Even the poorest man in the village felt he deserved better. Yet, suitors still came. Not out of love, not out of desire. They came with insults wrapped as proposals. One man came and said, I can marry you, but you will work my farm like a man. Another said, I will take you as a second wife. You won't sleep inside the house. Some laughed as they spoke. Others spoke like they were doing her a favor. Kaisha's father would sit quietly, ashamed. Her mother would beg her, just accept one. A woman must marry. But at night, Kaisha would lie on her mat and stare into the darkness, asking herself, is this all my life will be? Every rejection carved something inside her. Every laugh followed her into her dreams. And each morning, when Kaisha stepped outside, she carried her ugliness like a burden everyone could see. A phase the village never let her forget. A destiny she did not yet know how to escape. Kaisha's days began the same way. She woke before the sun, stepped out of her house, and met the village with her head lowered, not because she was weak, but because looking up only invited laughter. Women paused their grinding to stare. Men nudged each other and whispered. Children followed behind her like a cruel chorus. Ugly woman. Monster face. Don't look at her. Kaisha kept walking. At the stream, conversation stopped when she arrived. At the market, sellers hurried her away, afraid her presence would scare customers. Even when she spoke kindly, people heard ugliness before they heard her voice. When she returned to her house, silence waited for her. A silence so loud it pressed on her chest. Her mother watched her with tired eyes. Her father spoke less each day. Then, one evening, news spread. A suitor had come. Kaisha heard it from outside first. The excited voices, the sudden laughter in her house, the way her mother rushed to tidy everything. Her heart sank. Suitors never meant happiness. They meant another wound. The man arrived just before sunset. Tall, well-dressed, confident in a way that made Kaisha uncomfortable. He did not look at her immediately. Instead, he spoke to her parents, his eyes roaming the walls, the roof, the floor, everything except her face. When he finally turned to Kaisha, his smile tightened. He cleared his throat. "I have heard she is hard-working," he said. "She will not disgrace me." Kaisha felt the words hit her like stones. He asked her to walk. She walked. He asked her to turn. She turned. He studied her like a damaged item in the market, checking, measuring, judging. Then he nodded slowly. "I will take her," he said, "but my conditions are simple." Kaisha's mother leaned forward eagerly. Her father said nothing. "She will not go out often. She will speak only when spoken to, and she must understand I am doing her a favor." The room felt smaller. Kaisha stared at the floor, her chest burning. This was how her life was decided. Without her voice, without her choice. That night, as Kaisha lay awake in her house, sleep refused to come. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees. Inside, her heart asked the same question again. Is this all my life will be? And somewhere deep within her, something quiet began to stir. Not hope, not yet, but resistance. Kaisha married the suitor quietly. There was no joy, no celebration that lasted, no laughter meant for her. The village gathered, not to rejoice, but to stare. Some came out of curiosity. Some came to confirm what they already believed. Even ugliness can find a husband if she lowers her head enough. Kaisha was taken to her husband's house before nightfall. The door closed behind her like a final sentence. Marriage did not soften her life. It hardened it. Her husband spoke little, but his silence was heavy. When he looked at her, it was with irritation, not love. When visitors came, she was sent inside. "Don't sit where people can see you," he warned. "You embarrass me." Kaisha worked from morning till night, sweeping, cooking, fetching water. Still, it was never enough. If food burned, it was her fault. If rain fell, it was her fault. If his mood darkened, she carried the blame. At night, she lay on the mat alone, listening to his breathing from a distance. She felt more invisible as a wife than she ever was as a daughter. One evening, after a long day, Kaisha was sent out to buy oil before darkness fell. The road was quiet. Too quiet. As she walked, the air suddenly felt cold. The trees stopped moving. Even the insects fell silent. Then she saw him. An old man stood by the roadside. His back was bent. His eyes were sharp, too sharp. He looked at Kaisha and smiled. "You carry sorrow like a shadow," he said. Kaisha stopped. Before she could speak, the old man stretched out his hand. In it was a worn-looking bra. "Take this," he said softly. "Once you wear it, you will become the most beautiful." Kaisha stared at it, confused. Her hands trembled as she reached out. She looked up to ask a question, but the old man was gone. No footsteps, no sound, nothing, just cold air and silence. Kaisha stood alone on the road, her heart pounding, the strange gift heavy in her hands. She did not know it yet. Kaisha returned home late that night. The house was dark. Her husband was already asleep. She sat on the edge of the mat, her heart still racing. The strange encounter replayed in her mind the old man, his eyes, his voice. Slowly, she brought out what he gave her. She stared at it for a long time. Fear fought curiosity. Doubt fought desperation. Finally, with shaking hands, Kaisha wore it. Nothing happened. At least, not immediately. She lay down, confused, disappointed, and exhausted. Sleep took her, and the next morning, Kaisha woke to silence. A strange silence. When she stepped outside, something felt different. The air felt lighter. The sun felt warmer. She walked past a group of women. They stopped talking. Not to laugh, not to whisper, to stare. One of them gasped. "Is that Kaisha?" Kaisha touched her face, confused. People gathered slowly, their eyes wide, their mouths open. Children pointed not in mockery, but in shock. Men turned fully to look. For the first time in her life, no one laughed. When Kaisha reached the stream, she saw her reflection. She screamed. The woman staring back at her was beautiful. Smooth skin, balanced features, bright eyes, a glow that did not look human. Kaisha staggered backward. By noon, the whole village knew. People who once avoided her now rushed to greet her. Women wanted to touch her skin. Men wanted to speak to her. She became hot cake. Everywhere she went, heads turned. Compliments followed her like shadows. Her husband noticed too. Suddenly, he smiled. Suddenly, he was proud. "This is my wife," he said loudly to visitors. But Kaisha remembered. She remembered the insults, the silence, the shame. When he ordered her around as before, something inside her broke. "No," she said quietly. He laughed. She repeated it louder. "No." That night, Kaisha packed her things. "I suffered with you when I was nothing," she said. "You hid me. You broke me. Now you want to enjoy what you did not protect." The next morning, Kaisha left. The marriage ended. And suitors came from far and wide. Rich men, powerful men. Men who once mocked her now begged. But Kaisha had learned. Beauty without sense is another kind of prison. She chose her life carefully. She chose herself. Her beauty remained with her, and her confidence grew even stronger. Kaisha lived the life she was once denied, respected, desired, and unashamed. She lived happily ever after.